some graphs, not too many of them. But what I wanted to hit on today and is the topic is buckle up. The market's moving with or without you and or your cars. Okay, so what we're talking about this is a couple things. We did a clubhouse this morning with David Long and John Ellis and everybody at the everything used car group on Clubhouse, which we do every Friday morning at 8 Central. With that, prior to that, I was doing demos with dealers, and we know things are slowing down at dealerships, not just based on all the trending that we're doing at dealers, 2 week sales cycles, shopper counts, wholesale things. But the way I really gauge it is engagements from dealers reaching out to us, because again, we're typically the place where people are going to reach out when they need help, right? We didn't get too many phone calls and emails when there was record months and record gross, but all of a sudden everybody's coming out of the woodwork. So with that, I was doing a demo the other day, and the dealer was selling about a third of his inventory a month. Things are slowed down. And one of the challenges that the inventory manager threw out there was, you know what though, Jason, JD Power, which was an ADA book and stuff, JD Power still had these values really high, but the market's really low. And so he was justifying his higher pricing based on book out data, which is fine because that's what the bank would loan out. But again, that dropped the traffic down drastically. Customers don't really care what the book is saying. They see better deals out there and they're going to other dealerships. But I also told him, I said, this is the time. Here we are at February, and you really only got about a 45 to 60-day window to take advantage of this tax season market. Shopper and volumes going up. We've seen our dealers 2 week volume, 2 week sale rates increasing. Our dealers on average are selling about 100% of their inventory right now. They're carrying 100, they're selling 100. And so what was happening though, he was slowing down because of book values, and he wasn't getting aggressive on pricing. Plus, tax season around the corner. So I told him, I said, this is the time you take advantage of it, especially cars that you own wrong. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and price these things to get some traffic, whatever price you need to do to get it traffic. I'm not saying aggressive. It might have to be aggressive depending on your market, but let's get traffic on these cars, because right now you have a good gap between what you're selling the car for and what the book is saying. And so you're going to be able to help people get out of inequity situations, which a lot of people are in right now. They have a lot of inequity, and you'll be able to roll those things in there. Because here's the problem. And what I mentioned at Clubhouse this morning was, once tax season hits and shoppers are here and you can ask a higher price for your cars, guess what's going to happen to book? Okay. The reason why book is higher right now, again, is there's based on what was selling through the wholesale or through the lanes. And as the wholesale value has been dropping though, and it hasn't caught up to retail yet, come tax season, March range, it's going to look back to this time when things were going down, and book is going to get lower, even though you can ask more money, and that gap isn't there anymore as much, right? You got more traffic, you're going to be able to sell more cars, but now the book has caught up to this decreasing wholesale value, and what you're selling it for versus what a customer can finance becomes tighter and tighter, and it's going to get tougher to sell people. Then what's going to happen? You roll out of March into the beginning of April, things start slowing down mid-April, going into May, and here we are with May. We're stuck with a bunch of cars again. Things have slowed down, and books are going to go up, and it looks like things are back to higher values. And when it's not, it's just the market has slowed down, and it was looking back at February and March and April. So there's a lagging indicator, because here what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I share this type of information all the time, so you'll be used to it if you watch my other videos. But what we're looking at is Google Shopper Index for people going online looking for a used car. Now, I say this tax season is going to be tough because the last two have been really tough. And what you're seeing here is a 5-year window. Okay, so it'll look back pre-COVID, 2019, and also it's going to scale of 100. So between this window of time and the last 5 years, what was the peak? And that goes back here to March 3rd and 9th. The week of March 3rd, it was at 100. That's where the peak was. But if we look comparably, February 10th, which is tomorrow, out of 100, the shopper index was 87. Okay, rolling into a strong March pre-COVID. Then usually April and May, things slow down. You usually get a small uptick in June, July, or August about summer sales events, summer sales-a-thons, and then it drops down through December. This is COVID shutdown. So again, you go into February 2020, it was at 72 before COVID hit. Okay. COVID hit, drops down through December. Okay. 2021, go into February around the same time, it was a 68. So remember, it was at 87. Then it jumped up, and then it was around 72. Okay. And then it was about 70, 68 on down through December. Last 2 years ago, when I was warning everybody it's going to be soft, and a lot of people disagreed, saying, no, it's going to be a record tax return, highest ever tax return. It's going to be busy. I was watching these patterns. I was watching inventory levels. I was watching our dealers' 2-week sale rate. I knew it wasn't going to be. It was going to be slow. And sure enough, is at 64. Again, from a peak of 87. Now, you go into last year, which again, another soft 59. Okay. Where are we right now? 49. 49. Remember, pre-COVID peak was at 87. 49. Okay, that's almost a 40% drop. That's shopper index. Here's why that's important. The other thing I mentioned on that Clubhouse was I mentioned there wasn't a used car shortage. There's not a car shortage, and I believe it's not. If you don't believe me, go look at how many cars have been registered in the United States over the last 10 years, and we've had a record amount of cars registered in the United States. So there's plenty of cars out there. It's just customers are holding on to them. There's not a lot of 3-year lease returns. I get all that. But let's just say there is a shortage on retail vehicles available for sale. Let's just say there's a 20% reduction in availability. So what do? Oh, wholesale's high. There's less cars. Let's keep our prices up so we don't blow away our gross. But here's the problem. If there's 20% less shoppers with 10% less inventory, you're still at a net gain of 10% more inventory, okay? There's only a shortage if the demand exceeds the availability of the product, okay? Let me say that again. There's only a shortage if demand exceeds the availability of the product. We're down 40% pre-COVID, but we're down 20%, 30%, 20% shopper indexes. So even if there's 10% less cars available for customers to buy, there's 20% less shoppers. We're still at a net positive of 10% more cars than what people are looking for. Now let's roll that up too. There's not going to be as many nice 3-year lease, 30,000 mile 3-year-old cars coming into this used car market. What is available is pretty crappy. I mean, they're going to be higher mileage cars, right? There's a lot available between that 30 and 50 grand, very few cars below 20 grand. And even if they are below 20, they're getting miles. And the other thing, like Brian Kramer mentioned this morning, was, a lot of the success in previous tax seasons, not so much the tax money, but the equity the customers may have had in their car or the little bit of money they put down. And I mentioned, customers like going to buy a 20 grand car and like having the payments in the 300s. And I know 20 grand doesn't equal a $300 payment on a 60-month term, but it does if they had equity and they had a couple grand down because of the tax return. They had a 2, 3, 4% interest rate, right? They can get a 20 grand car in the 300s a month. The 20 grand car now is going to be miley, less equity, and a higher interest rate, and it's going to be in the 400s, a high up 400s. And that's not very appealing to a lot of people, okay? And they're going to back out. And the only people are going to buy something if they need it. It's that 10% rule. You got 10% of people that make enough money, it don't matter. They're going to spend money, or they're benefiting from a slower economy. You got 10% of people buy here, pay here. It don't matter. They don't have money invested in the stock market. They're just trying to survive, and they're going to still be buying. But the good 80%, 60 to 80% of customers that are out there are going to be very cautious. And I don't think anything's going to happen. The other thing you got to wrap up this year is it's a tax season or election year. So this is kind of like my last video, but my point is, you're going to have to buckle up. This is reality, okay? Everybody, I love David Long. We say we create our own economy, right? Yeah, people are still going to buy cars, but they got to be from you. The other thing I'm going to say, I looked at 2 dealers' inventory. Matter of fact, a third one today. And you know what? Before I go into the demo, I check out dealers' inventory. You know what I look for? Cars and pictures with trees in the background. Here we are in February. There hasn't been leaves on on trees in 6 months. I pulled up a car yesterday at a dealership. They had green leaves on their trees, and the dash said 90 something degrees. Okay. And I asked them, I said, this thing has to be at least 6 months old. How long has it been since it's been 90 degrees? And it was North Carolina. He's like, yeah, 6 months. Okay. So, and then the other thing you got to think about too is, so anyway, people are still going to be buying cars. Make sure you stand out, be competitive, turn that inventory. And the thing you also got to think about, that one day old car that you're not worried about because tax season's, here. If that car doesn't sell, tax season's over in 60 days. Okay, 60 days is what, going to be April 9th. Things start slowing down by then. People already got their tax return. People filing late owe money. They're filing by the 15th. They owe money. Okay. So that one day old car will be 60 days old by the time things slow down, and then you're going to be in a world of hurt because you paid up for a car to get for tax season, and then the market starts shifting. So if this tax season ain't strong, don't be surprised if that average wholesale goes from 18 grand down to 16 grand, and everybody's scrambling, getting rid of cars. So there's still going to be buyers. We're still going to sell retail 15, 18 million used cars. They're going to retail probably 15 million new cars. Maybe even higher. I think the incentives are going to get crazy this year. I think they're going to be one of the highest incentives you're going to see by July, August. Summer sales events, new cars are going to get the attention. Lower rates, Jeeps drop prices of Cherokees. So keep an eye out, keep that inventory moving. You want to see how we can help you get through this. We're going to combine your inventory with your lead management. If you got a truck problem, let's turn your trucks, figure out if it's a pricing problem based on your data. Again, we pull from your inventory tool, we pull from your CRM. But not only that, if you have a truck problem, let's call and email the truck leads every day, every other day to get our sale rate back up. The problem is most CRMs, no CRMs I know of can allow you to pull up large pickup truck leads. So that's where we're going to be able to help you maximize your inventory and the opportunities you have. I hope this was helpful. Check out the upbus.com. Okay. A lot of videos there. We had the Upbus at NADA. It was a great event. Everybody loved it. Have a great weekend. Go Chiefs.